Hey everybody, it has been a while since I have been on here. I think it's been a few months. I sort of went into hibernation with regard to Facebook Live videos over the winter, but it's beautiful out. It feels like the first sort of spring day that might actually stay spring-like for a while. And I wanted to come on here and share some thoughts because today I've been really busy preparing for a 2-day retreat with my beloved mastermind clients, 4 wonderful women with whom I've had the pleasure of working for 2.5 years. And hold on a second, what's this funny little thing on my screen? Oh, okay. And it has been such an honor, such a pleasure to walk these journeys with these women and to have them walk mine with me in this time. And I've been thinking a lot as I've been preparing for this retreat, whose theme is belonging, because that's what we've been doing together. We've been learning how to devote ourselves to connection, to vulnerability, to an interior belonging that fortifies an exterior container for belonging to one another. And it's been just magical work, incredible work. And as I've been thinking about this today and this theme of belonging from a number of different angles, I've been thinking a lot lately about what are the kind of people whom I love to be around. And it occurred to me that it's not, I don't seek to be with happy people. Which, don't get me wrong, I love joy and I love to be around people who feel happy, of course. But that's not my goal. I think happiness, in fact, is a misguided goal because I don't think the route to happiness is to set out to be happy. I think that the route to happiness is to set out to be present. And that's a word we toss around so much that it's kind of been emptied of its meaning. So what I mean by that has everything to do with belonging. And let me explain it this way. I was at a poetry reading that I hosted about a week ago, a little over a week ago here in Bloomington Normal. It was an incredible event. I've hosted these for 6 years, and this one was just transportive. We had 3 amazing women poets, Kelly Michaels, Rachel Jameson Webster, and Chloe Garcia Roberts. And by the end of the evening, I was emceeing and hosting this event, and by the end of the evening, I stood up to say thanks and, offer my words of gratitude, wrap it up in some way, and all I could do was stand like this, with hands to my heart, and weep. Just not sob, just weep, because I was so full of feeling, and I felt given permission to stay in that place, in communion. And that is what belonging is, right? When we can exhale into the full reaches of who we are, with whom we're with, and stay safe. Feel held, feel seen, feel capable of extending and being fully who we are, and be accepted, right? And I was so grateful to these women poets for inhabiting their work in such an embodied, full way that I felt like one should feel in the presence of amazing art, right? Which is to say, my heart just opened. I could feel it stretching. I could feel it literally getting bigger, like the Grinch at the end of the Grinch's movie, right? And I could feel my mind unfolding and counterpointing itself. And I could just feel, on a cellular level, my whole body becoming in some way much more spacious. And this is what I think about when I think about this retreat I'm holding and the work that I've been doing with these women and the work that I'm most excited about doing right now in my work with my private clients. It's helping myself and guiding these women into a fuller capacity to be with not only the pieces of ourselves that we love and identify with, but most particularly with those pieces of ourselves that we have exiled. Exile is vital to belonging. There's a beautiful worker, Toko Pa, whose work I've been loving lately. She has a beautiful book called Belonging that's been really inspiring to me lately. And she talks about the necessity of exile and the journey in the dark night of the soul that exile takes us through if we're willing to stay with it, and how that brings us back into the fold of true belonging. And that's something I really believe. And this is the work I've been most excited about lately, because this is how we heal trauma. And I'm talking deep, cellular, embedded trauma. I'm talking the kind of trauma that provokes us into addictions to which we stay enslaved for years and decades. I have one client right now who is, for the first time in 40 years, overcoming an eating disorder, really, really healing and leaving that behind. I have another client who is overcoming a long enslavement to substance abuse, who is working her way out of that. And the root to this is always the same. It's learning to identify those sensations and patterns of behavior that are anchored to our unhealed traumas, and being able to develop the presence to hold those wounds, to feel them. And we can't do that all at once often. Sometimes the cellular embeddedness of these traumas is so literally overwhelming that we must do so in pieces. And we must do so in group and communion with skilled guidance. And we must feel very safe. But this is what we've been doing together in this group. And this is joy. This is joy. And I've been doing this myself lately. I've been doing a lot of work on some really deep trauma that I have experienced, and that's pretty profound. And I have found over and over that it is always the simplest and most difficult of tasks to steady myself when that feeling comes over me and stay with it. That might seem easy to those of you who don't know this experience, but to those of you who have experienced real trauma, and I know that that's so many of us, you know that there's nothing easy about that. Holding that pain without projecting it outward in blame or aggression or resentment, and sitting with it without being consumed and overwhelmed, that is one of life's greatest challenges as an adult. And it is the pathway to rewiring our desire out of addiction, out of patterns that keep us enslaved to trauma and abuse, out of negative reactivity. So this is the work I'm most excited about doing these days. I feel like it's profound work. I feel like it is the work of healing that our world is most in need of right now. And I am so thankful for the women and men who are seeking guidance from me right now to do this work on themselves. If this is something that interests you, I am holding a retreat at the end of May. Not this kind of retreat I'm doing this weekend, but a different retreat, my Your Path to Full Potential retreat. And this is a women's only retreat, so sorry fellas. But it's a retreat limited to 10 to 12 women. I like to keep them small so that it can be a nourishing, intimate, safe environment where we really get to know one another. But this is the kind of work we're going to be doing. We are going to be just strengthening our muscles to be able to hold the space for every piece of who we are. Because when we can do that, we can do anything. We can do anything. When we're not afraid of what might come up, when we're not afraid of the worst emotions we can feel, we really become fearless. And we become so much more capable in relationship. Because when we have stopped exiling those parts of ourselves we don't like, we stop rejecting the parts of others that really bother us. And that's where true deep love really, really takes root. So I will put the link to my next retreat and how to find information and how to register in the comments below. So just look there. And in the meantime, thank you for listening, everybody. I can't read your names on the screen, though there's a lot of you. I can't see you because I don't have my glasses on right now. But thank you for being here and watching, and it's great to be back. Oops.